Hey everybody, Koosemose here, back again with Last Dream World Unknown. We are in, I believe it's called North Bay, and we've got basically just a house to check out and see if there's anything of interest here. I wonder whether the World Council will exhibit decisive leadership and take swift action to avert war, or if this august institution will show the strains of ineffectual bureaucracy. We'll see. My parents are taking me to Estonia to see the World Council. I'm eager to see the most sophisticated level of governance in action, and of course witness a rare world event. The World Council only meets once every decade. Okay, so I added extra words on accent. Collection of handwritten letters been stamped returned to sender in large red text. All the letters appear to be addressed to the Theopolis City Council. Okay. Many men go fishing all their lives without knowing that it is not fish they are after. It's a letter to the Theopolis City Council pleading for them to intervene and allow this family to pass through the Estonia main gate. Alright. Anything else for me to take? Yes, water. So strange and mysterious. I want my child to view the World Council now because she's going to be a member someday. It'll be bright young people like her that show the rest of us how to live together and prosper in peace. They shouldn't have to grow up wondering whether their home will be standing in the morning. Anything in the kitchen for me to take? No. Okay. Thanks for the stuff. I'm out. Alright, one house down. This might take a while. Have I been on this ship? I'm not sure. Yes, I've taken your stuff, so I've of course been here. You, sir? Yeah, okay, quit talking to the elf. It's a very, very large place. I mean, we saw those large on the outside, but... well, I suppose since they tend to be larger on the inside anyways, should expect that. There are scant records of the time before Orphos was officially established 3,000 years ago. During that time, humans existed largely as nomads, and Theopolis was the only established city. Where's book 2? Oh, in the bookshelf, of course. North Bay did not exist at the time that human chieftain Philip claimed the entire human continent as his empire and dubbed it Orphos. It was largely an empty claim, and the nomadic people of the western desert, eastern grasslands, and northern tundra completely ignored his edicts. But Philip's statement was the first official record of the nation of Orphos, so it must be included in any history of the nation. Philip's claim was bold, and his actual authority extended only miles from the wooden walls of Theopolis. However, he worked quickly to expand his empire. 10 years after the founding of Orphos, Philip realized that Orphos would never be a world power without a port city. Philip founded North Bay and South Bay to serve as Theopolis' lifeline to the rest of Firma. North Bay was founded at the western tip of Orphos, while South Bay was founded due south of Theopolis. South Bay grew quicker than North Bay because of its nearer proximity to the Elven and Goblin continents. With 2 burgeoning port cities and a thriving capital city, Orphos grew rapidly, and its sphere of influence soon covered all but the northern tundra and the far eastern reaches of Orphos. Alright, so what else we have here? Before his death, Philip ensured a peaceful succession to his son, Alexander. Under Alexander, Orphos continued on its rise to prominence, but was still no match for the powerful nation of Holdra that had already stood for nearly 30 millennia. Goodness, it's a long time. Okay, we already read that. Not sure when the books went to only being 1 per shelf, even on a double shelf. But I mean, I'm kind of annoyed that for a bit it wasn't that way, and then it goes to being that way. Like, I still feel like I need to check just in case. I had a few too many ales a few days back and foolishly bought this recipe for an unlucky axe from a traveling merchant. What am I going to do with it? Nothing. Want to buy it? Sure, I can't really actually use it, but I'll take it anyways. I've seen many oddities during my travels. One especially peculiar structure can be seen from the coast while traveling along the eastern coast of Ugbar. It's the tallest structure in all of Firma and reaches nearly as high as the peaks of the floating fortress in Westonia. The goblins call it the Tower of Pestilence, and it is blight upon the lands of Ugbar. I've heard stories that say that the lush forests of Ugbar once touched the walls of the tower. Now the barren desert stretches hundreds of miles in all directions away from the strange obelisk. I can't say that I'd want to go get much closer than the coastline. I met a sailor once who claimed to have seen giant birds flying through the sky when sailing to the southwest. When I say giant, I mean the wingspan was the length of a standard shipping vessel. Sadly, the fellow also claimed that he was the first king of Holdra reincarnated, so I don't put much weight to his words, but it's a nice thought. G'day mate, what's better, a pint of grog or a barrel of rocks? The beer, of course. What kind of drunk would pick the rocks? Me, that's who. 'Cause the barrel may contain precious emeralds. That's right. I traversed the outback to the back of the beyond to find good old rocks that warriors like you use for pointy sticks, eh? I've spent yonks looking for rare gems. Been to every corner of Firma, in fact. Now enjoy every corner of this pub. Oi, I have something for you. She'll be apples if you buy it. It's a sword, see, made of emeralds. Cost you, though, a pretty corner tin. How about it? Sure. Ta, enjoy the sword, mate. I'll enjoy my smart bargaining. Hooroo. I've heard that some terrifying, powerful monsters appeared on North and South Aldrin. Along with Rockwood's destruction, it appears that civilization on the lesser continent may be coming to an end. Alright. People who grew up in the capital of Theopolis might consider North Bay to offer priceless peace, but there are so many corners of Firma I haven't yet witnessed. You seem to share my adventurous spirit. Here's to us. If you find your way into Ugbar during your travels, be sure to visit the capital, Habagar. It is a peculiar underground city, home to over half of the citizens. Goblin blood must have traces of dwarf in it, because they don't seem to mind living underground. I must be the luckiest man alive. Something told me to leave Rockwood, and I found out when I arrived here in North Bay that it had been destroyed. Can't stop thinking about what would have happened if I hadn't listened to my gut. I'd probably be rotting in the rubble of Rockwood. Anyway, enough about me. Would you like to buy some rings? Do you have any new rings? I don't believe so. And you folks back here. These are dangerous times, my friend. I've heard safe passage to Grimlar from a safety detail service in Westonia, but as of yet, no one has arrived. I've hired safe passage, rather. Time is of the essence when dealing with the goblins. They are a fickle people. The goods that they requested may earn me only peanuts if I arrive too late. The historic seaport of North Bay will not be the next to fall after Rockwood. No, as the western gate to the capital city, we will outlast these hostilities and continue to welcome and resupply peaceful travelers. What is an innkeeper without an inn to run? I was forced from my home in Necht when my pro-goblin views were challenged by the town's prelate. My savings won't last long. You heard of any innkeeper openings? No? Such is my luck. I feel like that's a hint for something later. Are you on your way to Westonia as well? I'll be there representing humans at the World Council. Westonia lies at the center of Vir, a continent to the southeast of Orphos. In peaceful times, it's a beacon of what we can accomplish together. I believe Westonia will ably endure this madness. I hate the cold. With Rockwood destroyed, Tizarn and Grimoire are the ports of interest. Why'd they have to build their port towns in such terrible climates? Ooh. Very lovely music, so I do kind of have to keep talking because you may not be able to hear it. In fact, stop playing yes. Must always remember that yes is stop playing, not... And it's not, do you want to continue playing? I've done that several times. And a huge potion. How huge are the potions, do you think? Like, huge potion sounds like ridiculously large to me, personally. Hopefully, you know, the inn is like half of our time here, because goodness, this inn is taking forever. It does have an awful lot of people in it. And an awful lot of stuff. The upstairs doesn't look that great, though. Seems a little shoddy. Beginning of an adventure story. Well, I purchased this armor to protect myself on my journey. What do you think? It fits well, does it not? Not bad. Okay. Orphos Volume 7. Alexander was hungry to further expand the empire and knew that the orphan military would be easily rebuffed by the elves. Therefore, he set his sights on the lush western lands of Ugbar. His incursions into western Ugbar began the long history of conflict between human and goblin which still persists today, with intense prejudice against goblins amongst some humans. So the humans started the whole thing. But of course we did. Seeing the ruin that his father's hunger for power had wrought... Wait, what? Where's Volume 8? Here we go. Alexander was never able to solidify a foothold on Ugbar due to the great distance and the inferior maritime technology of his time. His death and succession to his son, Cassander, led to a time of peace and focus on improving the nation of Orphos, rather than expansion. The authorities deny it, but the truth is that the bunker far to the northeast is actually a secret military outpost. I've heard that they're carrying out all types of bizarre experiments in secret. Several years ago, I tried to investigate, but I was stopped before I came within miles of the outpost. They gave me the normal nonsense about a dangerous accident and sent me on my way. I don't believe it, and I never will. Why can't they be transparent and tell us the truth? If we're in danger because of their experiments, we have a right to know. Of course you do, buddy. Seeing the ruin that his father's hunger for power had wrought, Cassander took the truly historic step of creating the first Theopolis City Council to rule in place of a king. Cassander became one of the council members, while the other two were elected by the city of Theopolis. That was missing a book. Ooh, huge orbs, I like those. A lot of gold. There we go. Under the Theopolis City Council, Orphos continued peacefully until the Great Wars struck. The prosperous city of South Bay was completely destroyed by an invading goblin force, and a simple military outpost was set up in its stead. Alright, so I guess that answers the question of where South Bay is. Since Cassandra's time, the Theopolis City Council's rule was only interrupted once by the Mad King Argus, just after the Great Wars. Argus took advantage of the intense fear of nationalism after the Great Wars to seize control from the ruling council. I feel like there should be like one more book, but I don't see anywhere for it to be, so... I mean, I suppose it could be elsewhere. Did I talk to you? I left my home in Necht for glory at the arena. My plans have hit a bit of a snag, though, with the closing of the Estonia border. The only other route into Estonia is an old trade route that's long since abandoned. I've already explored it and was quickly stopped by giant chasms. My dreams of stardom at the Estonia arena will have to wait. Ah, poor fella. Can't go and risk your life for fleeting glory. Alright, I do believe that does the end for us. Let us leave and head to wherever might be next. Nothing up there. And that's the way across. I think there are houses down here, yes. Quit looking at the clocks. They tell you nothing. The dwarves are amazing metallurgists. The equipment that they can create with rare earth gemstones such as emeralds, rubies, and sapphires are magnificent. I've read stories of mythical weapons and armor even more powerful than the dwarves' sapphire equipment. Surely there's no basis for such stories. Of course there is, there always is, otherwise nobody would have mentioned it. Because that is rather how, RPGs work. And for that matter, most stories, really. Oops, I did not mean to leave yet. I mean, I eventually need to leave, but... Collection of news stories from Theopolis and Westonia. You have important news for the City Council of Theopolis regarding Rockwood? Make haste to the east. The council is likely leaving for Westonia soon to meet the Decadal World Council. Okay. So, council's at Orphos, I presume. A little money, excellent. Always very useful. Oops. Okay. And we've got... Oh, that's all the houses. Or are there more this way? Yes, there are. Let the World Council have its meetings. It won't improve the lot of the Necht victims. When the war kicks up, the best way to survive is to remain isolated and avoid the notice of both sides. Survivalism by the layman by Grills. The most dangerous place is the urban environment. Criminals and armies alike are lured to these naive population centers. Before all else, move to the wild and isolate yourself from those who would do you harm. Alright. Ooh, and stuff to take. What? Well, that was peculiar. I could have sworn it said unable to unlock the chest. Perhaps it was able. I didn't expect anything to be said, so I didn't really wait. Don't we usually just automatically open it up? Well, not automatically, but with no text. Is it even possible that by decree of the World Council we can compel humans and goblins to live together? If you're optimistic, you point to the capital as examples of coexistence in practice. Yet, if, like me, you point to the destruction of Rockwood and advances of Necht upon Court, then the challenges the World Council face seem formidable. I wonder what the final script of history will say, and whether any heroes will rise to guide us through these troubled times. Ooh, me, I'll do it. Articles written by the residents. And one more house. I would love to be able to get a map of the city. Like, especially if it could show us where we visited. See, I was daydreaming a week ago when my thoughts focused on a number, and no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't shake the feeling that the number was somehow important. 0308-2013. Why is it important? So this is North Bay, and it is 0308-2013. Alright, excellent. So definitely going to come across a lot of places with these. Did I look at this yet? There's no greater thrill than standing at the bow of a whaling ship with a harpoon in hand. Keep steady, calm, and release your harpoon into the beast. Some say even larger creatures, leviathans, lurk beneath the waves. I mean, I've got some dead ones with me, so I presume so. Well, okay, they might not exist here technically. I mean, I assume they probably do, but me having dead ones from another world doesn't necessarily prove their existence on this world. Okay, obviously nothing there. Aha! Very large place. Hopefully with not too many people or things to talk to. The last mystery of Firma. The second landmass lies to the south of Ugbar, and appears to be nearly as large as Orphos, Holdra, and Ugbar. We owe this estimation to the famed goblin explorer, Gamma, who circumnavigated the continent in 3 months. His journey was so taxing that he lost half his crew in the process, and succumbed to illness only a few short weeks after returning to Hobgar. According to Gamma, there are no places to make port along the entire coastline. Interesting. It is this author's hope that we may one day explore these enigmatic areas when Firma masters the secrets of flight. Well, there's a heck of a hint for you. Familiar with the geography of Firma? No? Ah, then you aren't familiar with Mount Agni that sits at the center of a gigantic continent far to the southeast. The area surrounding it is the most forsaken place on all of Firma. The goblins insist that Mount Agni is the gate to hell itself, which is clearly nothing but folklore. Yet still, the place has been devastated over and over by constant lava flows. I would love to visit the area someday to see that unique barren landscape. And of course, as we know, Mount Agni is where the... well, I keep forgetting what they're called, but the demon-looking people evolved and perhaps retreated to after. I can only assume they were beaten. Because, well, they don't seem like they'd leave people alive. At least not, at the very least, not alive and free. And nothing of interest on the roof. So let us continue down. Make sure there's no more houses left to look at. And boat, okay. That's where we started. Alright. So, that takes care of everything. We do have stuff across the way. And if you're ever curious why I'm going so fast, just holding down the select button does fast forward mode, so it just runs everything faster. And yes, I shall take a ride back to the mainland. I'll probably get a ride back, but for now, no, not yet. Business is down since people began feeling unsafe in remote areas. Can't say I blame them. I wouldn't want to run into a marauding army either. Still, there are many scenic trails that cover the continent of Orphos. As newcomers to the area, I encourage you to explore all of the human capital, Diapolis. Of course, you must visit Westonia, the grand world capital. Unfortunately, the elves have closed the border into Westonia. Can't believe they would do such a thing with so many humans and goblins wanting to attend the Decadal World Council. I've heard that there was once an old trade route that ran through the mountains near Westonia, but it hasn't been used in several centuries. So there's our major hint of what to do. But I do think what I actually want to do is get myself a MOA for this island. And from there, see that. I wonder if that takes us to the spirit tree we saw. Ah, hello, Mr. Goblin. Me digging dirt. Me fine digger. You want? Yes, please. Me wonder if more treasures in dirt. Me look more. So he dug up a shovel? What did he dig with? Okay, so we've got maybe the exit there, and maybe the tree here. Yeah, that's it. Like the only spot of grass in this entire area. And that covers it. Okay, so we're just gonna peek out real quick, see if this in fact takes us out. Yes, it does. There is a tunnel here. Where does this take us? Alright, well, what I'm in fact going to do is head right on back here and get back on my boat. Because there is another route in, and there is a MOA tree, which I personally would like, or MOA forest rather, which I would like to make my way to. So I know one dock is along the north side of the continent. So we're just going to kind of speed through here a little bit. Nothing that interesting. Everybody's health is fine. MP is, well, decent. So not worried. I'll probably go ahead and speed through the rest of this battle. I'll probably do the same with the other. Oh, actually, these guys are really nasty. I just remembered. Completely forgot. If they hit the wrong person, they will wreck me just a little bit. But yeah, anyways, barring anything horrible happening, we'll probably end up speeding through any future fights. Though, of course, stuff can happen quite easily. And in the meantime, we'll look for... Okay, I know it's in this frozen area. The dock is, rather. That eel is actually surprisingly strong for just an eel. I mean, okay, maybe it was something other than just an eel, but let's check my eel mode. How far much... Okay, there's that. And I think this is the MOA tree, so I've got to go from here, pop that way, and then... Okay. Yeah, I can do this fairly easily. They'll make any future journeys drastically easier. Assuming they let me through. I'd be very sad if they don't. Ooh, houses. Ooh, blue chest. Okay, that definitely said able. Perfect SP orb. I don't know how much that gives, but presumably it's better than other ones. 500 years since the Great War, and yet the Theopolis ruling council won't close this isolated border outpost. This is the most miserable posting in all of Orphos. But you've got refreshing elixirs. How about you? Do you have anything for me to take? Empty, isn't it? I've heard that these guardhouses were fully manned just after the Great War. Although the war was over, the nations wanted to take precautions. Now, we're down to a skeleton crew of only 2 guards. I can't complain, though. It's an easy enough job. Look at all the people who've been through the border over the past month. It's empty. Gotta love the presentation. So I feel like maybe this border outpost being mostly empty might be a hint. I mean, maybe this is the way that the attacks will come through. It's possible. Okay, so I needed to go south through the first engineer hole I find. I'd like to see what that place is. Engineer's tunnel. Yes, I know. Okay, this could actually be kind of dangerous. So, let's drop a Hellfire. She'll, in fact, just do her sleeping darts. I'm going to slash and grab. And let's mind drain the Wraith, because it looks kind of nasty. Got some lovely elixirs. Excellent. And maybe I should drop some bombs. That'd be the way to do it when I need to take advantage of... Oh, well, Hellfire did it. Okay, so we can kill them with Hellfire. Good to know. We'll scale back our response a little bit more next time. There's a place up there I can check after I stop by the Moa Forest. Alright, first, the chests. With a rejuvenating elixir, only one chest. Does seem that way. I could be overlooking one hidden behind a tree, but I don't think so. Tame it? Of course. Alright, mount our Moa. And see what this place is. Okay. Kind of interesting looking place. Very empty. The entire Elven forces number 25,000, including the reserves, yet in terms of numbers, we, the proud human battle corps, effectively recruit the equivalent of the Elven forces every year. You look tired. Do you need to rest? Sure. I can always use a rest. Only 3 out of 10 humans are fit for duty. 4 out of 10 don't have the necessary education. 2 out of 10 are unfit due to medical or criminal records, and the remaining 1 out of 10 are insufficiently loyal to their kind. Of the potential, less than 1 will actually serve. Join the proud few. Okay, well this is what? Enlisted quarters? And this is more enlisted quarters. It's difficult to sleep knowing that the ravenous creatures could burst through the last lines of defense at any moment. Okay. What ravenous creatures? To become a true citizen, you must learn, think, and participate. To become a soldier, you must care, join, and strive. To become a warrior, you must never quit. Interesting. Headquarters. On being a bowman, Volume 2, Shattered Man was unaware that the front sight of my dragon bow was carefully trained on the center mass of his person. Welcome to hell. A year ago, you'd never have been allowed within 10 miles of this place, but we can't afford a single man on patrol at this point. At any moment, they may burst through the final gates, the only thing in keeping this terrible plague from being unleashed upon Firma. Every man here will give his life to stop that from happening, but I fear it will not matter. Nothing we've done up until now has made any difference. You have the look of a strong warrior. We could make use of you. Do you want to hear more about our plight? Sure. Approximately 9 months ago, researchers in our very deepest confinement chambers were carrying out an experiment in an attempt to create stronger soldiers. No one knows what went wrong, because all of those researchers are now dead, but something did go horribly wrong, and something monstrous was created. Minutes after the alarm was initiated, I sent our finest soldiers to investigate. They were slaughtered. If I could go back, I never would have sent those men to their deaths, but I didn't know. We barricaded the lowest level and posted troops on constant patrol. For weeks, it was silent. I truly thought that we had contained the threat, but then, 3 weeks after the initial incident, they broke through. 3 whole floors were corrupted by this plague before we were able to set up adequate defenses. Over the last 8 months, the remaining 7 floors have slowly been overrun. Alright, so a total of 10 floors. Now, we're the only ones left, and if we fall, there's nothing left to contain this threat. My worst fears are coming true. It seems hopeless. Volunteer and investigate? Sure. Are you mad? Did you not hear what I said? You insist? Ha! I'd like to have 100 more men with your bravery. Sadly, I think you lack for brains. Still, can't hurt the situation. Talk to the guard at the northern gate. He'll allow you in and out of the double gates. Alright, let's keep, that's where we came in. And there's a book I missed. On being a bowman, Volume 1, I caught a shattered presence from afar, menacingly peering from a wooden second-floor window across the desert villa. And what are you? The military promotion system is organized to allow the best to rise up. As a result, our elder veterans are the best spokespeople. Tell your story. And what do you have here? So many of my friends have died over the last several months that I'd feel guilty if I didn't give my own life to put a stop to the monstrosity that we've created. And we have, in fond memorial to Chief Warrant Officer Diane Beach, Captain Ramona Treat, and Second Lieutenant Jessica Dunn. Okay. Volume 7. On terminating power, my arrow transformed into Destiny's Spirit and unmercifully gored his target. Everything is all out of order. I don't know where they are or what order I'm supposed to go through them. Okay, this might make a little sense. The sudden projection of my most trusted arrow made a whisking sound. Yeah. Unarmed bow. I'll be honest, the arrow ones aren't that super interesting. Keeping the weapons sharp is a worthless task, but it keeps my mind from the truth that we'll all be dead soon. Sergeant's quarters. I'm surprised that none of us is cracked yet. I believe that's a testament to the rigorous training required for selection at this outpost. And some other numbers. I gazed outward with contented pride. The wooden man was still menacing as a planted bad guy. The next bowman shall have his chance at such training and triumph. So all that about shooting a target. Prior to the Great War, the human battle corps was risk-based and designed to respond to the only major threat in Firma, the goblins. We knew they sought to attack, what their capabilities were, and even their doctrines. In short, the world was simpler. Now the battle corps must be capabilities-based and balanced, preemptive and amorphous, peace-orientated and powerful. Okay, yeah, that makes a degree of sense. Sergeant Brown, the clay makings of a man are hardened in the trials of fire. Well, a lot of stuff to take from here, potentially. Looks like a supply room, so I'm assuming they have supplies. They don't need gold. What are they going to do with it? I'll take care of their problems, they won't need the gold at all. This place was meant to house several hundred troops. Now we number but a few final soldiers. The only good news is that we still have plenty of supplies. That's the way to look at it, soldier. Keep your chin up. Ish. Everlasting praise of the Colonel Susan Rockwell, at peace with herself and thus with others. Any books I can look at? Doesn't look that way. Oh, up there. These books do not hold my attention like they once did. I found my mind wandering to darker thoughts, often centering around the creatures lurking on the lower levels. Genetic Engineering by Mendel. The prospects of genetic engineering are nearly limitless, and we are only beginning to understand how to manipulate genes to express the traits that we desire. Still one? Okay. The military applications of genetic engineering could be used for both good and evil, depending on the hands that perform the engineering. Super soldiers with astounding strength and perhaps even regenerative properties could be fielded in battle either as peacekeepers or to conquer the world. Humans must master this technology first to ensure that it is not used against us by elves, dwarves, or goblins. The greatest minds of Orphos are gone, devoured or transformed by a terrible accident that has slowly spread throughout this entire complex. Okay, that is the lower floors. Extreme caution. That's John Randall Nelson, the best among us lead, and sadly often fall first. But you folks, most men have lost their appetite. We all know what has become of our lost comrades. Researcher, although horrible in nearly every aspect, I believe that some minor good may come out of the situation, if only I could acquire samples of the creatures that lurk on the lower floors. You volunteered to investigate the lower floors? You're either mad and seem to be deceased, or much tougher than you look. If you managed to acquire samples, please return to me. Alright, let's try to remember to return to him. Man, cook. I can only take one day at a time and hope that my small effort in keeping the soldiers fed will make some tiny difference when the final gates are breached. Anything for me to take? No? Well, how sad. Kitchen, presumably. And I've checked all these, so it's just... Okay, so I do believe that will be it for this episode. Next episode we'll be back to explore the lower levels and see what these horrible creatures that they keep below are. So, until then, I do hope you enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to leave a like and let me know what you think in the comments. But, until next time, catch you later.